Pepper had not moved from the toilet bowl in 3 hours. He was sitting with his front paws hooked over the rim, his head angled down toward the water, completely still. Lena had found him like this at 2 in the morning, and she was still standing in the bathroom doorway staring at him, unsure whether to be confused or frightened or both. She pulled him away and went back to bed. He was back in the same position the next night, and the night after that, and every single night for 9 nights straight, always at the same hour, always in the same spot, always with that same unblinking focus aimed at something inside that bowl that Lena could not see or hear or understand. She had owned Pepper for 4 years. He had never done anything strange in his life. Until now. And what was hiding inside that bathroom wall, the thing Pepper had been listening to every single night while Lena slept, would shake her completely when the truth finally came out. Lena was 31 years old and had lived in the apartment on Fenwick Road for 2 years. It was a 3rd-floor flat in an old building, the kind with thick walls and creaking pipes and radiators that clicked through the night like someone counting. She had chosen it because it was quiet and because the rent was reasonable. She had adopted Pepper 3 months after moving in. He had been the least dramatic cat at the shelter, sitting in the back of his enclosure with a calm and self-possessed expression that suggested he had already decided where he wanted to live and was simply waiting for the paperwork to catch up. 4 years later, nothing about him had ever given her cause for concern. He was healthy, even-tempered, and entirely predictable in every way, which was exactly why this made no sense. By the 5th night, Lena had stopped being confused and started being frustrated. She was not sleeping properly. Every night she woke to find Pepper gone from the bed, and every night she found him in the same place, same position, same expression of focused and total attention aimed at something inside that bowl. She tried closing the bathroom door on the 4th night. Pepper sat outside it and scratched without stopping for 40 minutes until she gave up and opened it. She tried placing his bed directly against her bedroom door so she would hear him leave. He stepped over it without disturbing it once. Her friend Daria came over for dinner on Thursday, and Lena mentioned it while they were washing up. Daria leaned against the counter and looked at Pepper sitting on the radiator shelf. "Maybe he sees his reflection in the water?" she offered. "He does it in the middle of the night," Lena said. "Every night. Same time, same position. Maybe he is just a weird cat." "He has never been a weird cat. That is the entire point." Daria shrugged. "Take him to the vet. Rule out the obvious things first." Lena made an appointment for Monday. The vet's name was Dr. Osman, a quiet, careful man who had been practicing for 20 years and did not dismiss things easily. He examined Pepper thoroughly and found nothing concerning. Eyes clear, ears clean, weight stable, heart rate normal. "Behaviorally, he looks completely fine," Dr. Osman said. "You said this started about a week ago?" 8 nights ago, Lena said. "Same time every night. He just stares into the bowl for hours." Dr. Osman considered this carefully. "Any changes in the apartment recently? New cleaning products? Any construction nearby?" Lena thought about it. "The building management sent someone to check the boiler about 2 weeks ago, but that was in the basement." "Any unusual smells in the apartment?" Lena paused. There had been something, a faint metallic quality to the air in the mornings that she had noticed twice in the past week and casually attributed to the old radiators. She mentioned it. Dr. Osman's expression shifted slightly, not dramatically, but enough for Lena to notice. "I want you to do something when you get home," he said carefully. "Open every window in the flat and call your building manager today, not tomorrow. Tell them you need someone to check the pipes inside your bathroom wall." "The pipes," Lena repeated. "Why the pipes?" He looked at her steadily. "Because cats hear things we cannot, and what you are describing is not behavioral. He is not staring at the water. He is listening to something moving inside the wall behind it. Before we get to what they found inside that wall, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps this channel grow. Now, back to the story. Lena called the building manager from the car park outside the vet. His name was Mr. Sorrell, a tired-sounding man who managed 6 buildings and always seemed to be in the middle of something else. She had spoken to him twice before about minor things. This time, his tone changed the moment she mentioned the metallic smell. "How long have you been noticing that?" he asked. "A week, maybe slightly longer." A pause that lasted just a beat too long. "I am sending someone this afternoon." A plumber named Gregor arrived at 4. He was broad and methodical, moving through the bathroom slowly, pressing his palm flat against the wall behind the toilet, tapping along the tiles in a careful, measured grid with his ear close to the surface. He stopped at one section just to the left of the pipe housing, tapped again, then once more. He straightened up and looked at Lena standing in the doorway. "How long have you lived here?" he asked. 2 years. He tapped the wall one final time. "This section sounds wrong," he said quietly. "I need to open it." It took him 40 minutes to cut through the tiles and the plasterboard behind them. Lena stood in the hallway with Pepper held against her chest, watching. Pepper was completely still, his eyes fixed on the opening in the wall with that same expression she now recognized. The same focused and absolute attention he had been bringing to that toilet bowl for 9 nights straight. The old lead pipe running through that section of wall had been corroding silently for years, hidden behind 2 layers of tile and plasterboard. It had been leaching particles into the bathroom water supply and releasing a slow, colorless vapor into the enclosed air of the flat. Low level, but consistent. The kind of thing that builds invisibly over months before anyone notices anything at all. Lena had been breathing it in for the better part of a year. She stood in the hallway, holding Pepper, and felt the ground shift slightly beneath her. The building was fully inspected the following week. 2 other flats in the same pipe system had identical problems. All 3 residents were temporarily rehoused while the work was completed. The building management covered every cost without argument, which told Lena everything she needed to know about how seriously they understood the situation to be. Her doctor ran a full blood panel. The results showed elevated levels consistent with prolonged low-level exposure. Nothing irreversible, but her doctor looked at her across the desk and said quietly that another 6 months without intervention would have told a very different story. Lena sat with that for a long time after she left the clinic. She thought about 9 nights of uninterrupted sleep, 9 mornings of pulling Pepper away from that bathroom and closing the door behind her and telling herself it was nothing, just a phase, just a strange cat habit that would pass on its own. She thought about how close she had come to never calling the vet at all. Daria came over the first evening after Lena returned to the flat, once the pipes were replaced and the wall was sealed and the air had been tested and cleared. They sat at the kitchen table with tea, and Pepper sat between them, which Lena normally did not allow on the table, but tonight she said nothing about it. Daria looked at him for a long moment. "He knew," she said quietly. "From the very first night," Lena said. "And you thought he was just being weird." "I thought he was just being weird," Lena said. "I almost took him to a behaviorist. I almost started closing the bathroom door permanently and buying earplugs." Pepper looked at her with those calm, steady eyes. Then he walked across the table, stepped deliberately into her lap, and settled there with the quiet certainty of a cat who has finished a job and knows it. Lena put both hands on him and did not say anything for a while. The bathroom wall is smooth and freshly tiled now. The pipes are new. The air in the flat is clean and smells like nothing at all, which is exactly what it should smell like. Pepper sleeps at the foot of Lena's bed every night. He has not visited the bathroom once since the wall was opened. Whatever he had been hearing inside that pipe, moving and shifting behind the plasterboard in the small, dark hours of the night, he cannot hear it anymore. Some nights, Lena wakes at 2 in the morning out of old habit and lies still in the dark, listening. But the flat is quiet, and Pepper is exactly where he belongs. She reaches down and puts her hand on him, and he purrs without waking. She thinks sometimes about what it takes to keep trying to tell someone something they are not yet ready to hear, to come back to the same place night after night, to scratch at a closed door for 40 minutes rather than simply give up and walk away. She thinks about what might have happened if he had stopped trying before she started listening. She does not let herself think about that for too long. Thank you for watching this story. If it stayed with you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it today. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me keep sharing more stories like this one.